We got two legends having fought tonight. The rematch was the repeat. What did you think of each man's performance?
Go back and look at the videotape, like the great Warner Wolf used to say. I'm kidding with you. But the great Warner Wolf, who was a great broadcaster back in the United States, you're too young to remember him. But he used to always say, let's go back to the videotape and see what I said. During the whole week, all I said was Usyk's going to win the same way I said the first time. And I'm not always right. I'm not trying to, well, I guess I am patting myself on the back a little bit. And that's not gracious. And that is really not a
win's a win for everybody. He got to win, you got to win.
No, but it's not that's not always in good taste. But seriously, last time when they fought, I picked him. And the reason I picked Usyk, and at that time Fury was a favorite, the reason I picked Usyk was he knows how to win. You know, he's a full package. He's a complete package. There's no weaknesses in him. Now, look, there's not one area where you say, wow, oh, my God, he punches like this. His speed is like this. No, but there's not one area where you say, wow, he's weak in that area. No, he's real good in every area. He's real solid in every area. And then, you know where he's the most solid? Here. Mentally. And so what did I say all week? Yesterday, 100 times. Day before, probably 250 times. I said, Teddy, who you like? I said, Usyk. Usyk's going to do what he does. He's going to do what he has to do to win. I think Tyson's going to be better. I think he's going to be better focused, better prepared. I think he's going to have a better game plan. Instead of just moving all over the place, I think he's going to be a little more. He realized, give credit to Fury, I will, and his people. He realized he got boiled down the first time. You know how you put a pot of water on the stove and it gets boiled down? Well, the pressure can boil you down. And the pressure in the first fight, every round, coming forward by Usyk. It burned him down by the 9th and 10th round, whatever it was, 8th, 9th, and 10th round. It burned him down. This time, he said, you know what? I might lose. Obviously, he was thinking he's going to win. But he said, I might lose, but I ain't going to lose by being boiled down. I'm going to set my feet. I'm not just going to move and let this guy just come in and be the boss and boil me down. I'm going to set my feet. I'm going to use my wingspan. I'm going to control that range. And you know what? I'm going to make it hard for him to earn his way in. I'm not going to let him just get in. I'm not going to let him just back me up. Because pressure does wear you out, mentally and physically. So I'm going to be set here, and I'm not gonna just, be a guy moving around and getting worn down. Because he was winning the early rounds the first time, but he was losing the war. He was winning the battle, but he was losing the war. Because the other guy knew what the war was. Then I'm going to get to him late. Then I'm going to wear him down. So at least I give him credit. Give Tyson credit where he knew that he wasn't going to get beat that way. But what does he do? What is that guy Usyk, the winner? He adapts. He does what he still finds a way to press. He goes to the body. They both went to the body. But Usyk was more consistent, going to the body all night long. And while Fury was throwing 1 and 2 at a time, did you notice the other guy's throwing 5 or 6?
I noticed.
You know what I mean? I wasn't the greatest student, but I wasn't. And math wasn't one of my top subjects.
I figured this one out.
I figured out 5 and 6 beats 1 and 2.
Well, you know what? Now the 1 and 2 that are left out in the cold right now is Fury and Joshua. Seldom do 2 losses make a super fight, but I think that is what we're going to see next. What do you think happens after what we've seen? 2 fights from Fury having been defeated and then knocked out by Joshua, knocked out by Dubois. What happens when those 2 face each other?
When you're getting older as a fighter, when you're getting older as anything, but a fighter more so, or an athlete more so, when you're getting older, you can start to lose some. But here's the real thing. When you're in that ring, every time you leave that ring, you leave a little piece of yourself in that ring. That first fight was more. It was much rougher. That first fight, there was more damage done in the first fight, and both guys left a little bit. I thought Tyson probably left a little more in the ring that first fight because it was a little more brutal. But every fight, especially when you get up in the age, every fight you just leave a little piece of yourself. So Fury left a little piece of himself. Now he was better tonight, but I'm going to say it again. He left a little piece of himself there. So that will show up next time. or maybe, and the real way of saying it is, it won't show up. In other words, he won't be all there the next time. And you have to calculate that. Nobody calculates those things. No one even thinks in those areas. But those are real areas where you have to think. So Joshua's left a little piece of himself sprinkled around in rings too. In his last fight, obviously with Dubois. And that was brutal. He did, that was a brutal beating. And he did take really massive, destructive, damaging type punches. Punches that damage you physically, that leave a piece of you there, and punches that damage you psychologically, where they leave a piece of you there too. So
who's got enough pieces to win the rematch or to win the fight?
I think that Fury's probably more versatile. He probably has more dimensions to him. Joshua is the better puncher, I think. Setting himself for one good shot. Not that Tyson can't punch, but I think Joshua is probably the more solid puncher. But I think that would be a good fight because both guys are coming off losses. Both guys are coming off, where they've lost a little piece of themselves. So it kind of evens up when you have both guys coming from the same place.
Give me who's got the edge, Teddy.
Really? You got to do that to me?
Yeah.
Really?
Come on. You know what it is.
You got to really do that to me? Really?
Yeah.
I do think, seriously, the clock ticks a little faster ahead for Fury after each fight now. I really do. And, of course, I think Joshua, even though he got brutally beat, he might physically wind up still having a little bit more left.
Physically younger.
Physically younger, a little bit. But psychologically, where's he at? Where is he at psychologically? I just think that it would be a really, really interesting fight.
All right. Well, it's going to be a really, really interesting conversation, as it always is every time I talk to you. I know you're on your way out, so I thank you for taking the time
I was
and
never
stopping.
going to walk away from you.
Radio Rahim with the legend, Teddy Atlas.